The following is a Candlepin Stars and Strikes rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Look at this. Look at
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Somerville Lumber. Looks good. Looks good. That's the goal. It's a goal. Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and once again, welcome. 2 full hours of Candlepin Bowling today here on the Wind, starting on Stars and Strikes here from Park Place Lanes in Windham. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. It's week 2 of the next to last series of the regular season, if you will, and last week Neil Gosselin came up with 4 1/4, and he gets to come back and try for 2 in a row this week.
He just bowled super last week. He's going to make it 2 in a row, but another tough competitor in Brian McKinley.
All right, let's meet our 2 bowlers. First of all, from Lynn, Massachusetts, looking for his 2nd straight win after beating Gary Carrington a week ago, Neil Gosselin.
Okay, Neil comes in averaging 125. His high single is 210. His roll-off score was at 671.
And last week, a 425 to knock off Gary Carrington, who threw a very respectable 389. So Neil looks for his 2nd straight win today, and he will face from Londonderry, New Hampshire, Brian McKinley.
Okay, Brian comes in averaging 123, has a high single of 192, and his roll-off score at 677.
All right, we'll have $50 in our bonus ball contest at the end of the show. Of course, the runner-up today will receive $175 as the 4th place check. The winner moves into our semifinal match next week. We'll tell you more about that and get this match underway from Park Place Lanes right after these words. Stay with us. All right, last week, as we mentioned, Neil Gosselin with that 425 scoring the win over Gary Carrington, and so he will take on Brian McKinley to try and make it 2 in a row this week. The winner today gets Dave Blaine in the semifinals 1 week from now, and 2 weeks from now it'll be championship week once again, and Bob Whitcomb will be in that number 1 seed spot. So Neil Gosselin, after that 4 1/4 a week ago.
Very impressive last week.
Altogether, he had 19 marks, including 6 strikes in the match a week ago, and 2 of those strikes came back-to-back early in the 3rd game when Gary Carrington was trying to make a comeback. Just 6 pins between these 2 guys in the roll-off as Neil finished 4th and Brian 3rd. And the final roll-off for this series, by the way, was held at, what's the name of that place again?
Botwell's Bowling Center, Concord, New Hampshire. Great place to visit. Come on down.
Be sure and ask for Dan when you go in. He won't be there probably, but you can ask for him.
Right, in the pocket is Neil. Let's see, the 4 and the 8 pins left. Wood wraps around.
Uh-oh. Ooh, just had enough lane.
Thought he was too far left on that one.
$18 with a spare up in the 2nd. Brian McKinley now.
One, 3, 6, 7. Piece of wood behind the 1. Might be better off shooting the 3-pin. That's what he's doing. Oh, and the wood hit the sidewall in front of the 7 and came back across and never touched it.
For Brian, this is his 14th appearance on Stars and Strikes. The last time he was here in singles competition was in February of last year. beat Joe Ashline during that series before losing a match to Tom O'Brien. And the strike.
Doesn't throw the ball very hard. It's a lot of mixing action off the ball, though, as you'll see here with a strike.
Neil Gosselin just coming up short of the head pin. He'll take 6 on his spare. At 1 o'clock today on Stars and Strikes doubles, it'll be Bob Ferrara and Alex Pendleton looking for their second straight win as they take on Larry Valcourt and Fred Ranella. Last week, a fine match. Bob and Alex winning a 2-pin decision. And we are now just 7 weeks away from the 1993 Tournament of Champions. April 25th is when they will start.
Where did the season go?
Exactly.
To fly by this year.
This will be in singles the 5th Tournament of Champions. In doubles, it'll be the 2nd. And all these guys want to be there. 9 for Neil. Pair of 9s. Brian McKinley now on the strike.
Wants the 7-pin to go, and it does. Leaves himself the 4 horseman right. 1, 3, 6, 10. Trying to make it spare on strike.
Yes. Nicely done on the 4 horseman right. Here it is.
Just puts the ball right in the 1-3 pocket. That time a little full, half a dozen.
A little tougher 4-pin leave this time.
To think I used to bowl against Brian's father.
Oh,
Phil.
tough? What's
Nice
tough about
straight
that?
Spare. His father used to make shots like that too.
Is that right?
That's right. His father wished he could be here today, but because the tape on Tuesday, couldn't very well make it. But
I'm
he's been proud of that shot.
I'm sure Brian will call him right after the match.
I'm sure.
Well, Neil going to have to reset because there's no 9-pin, or rather no 6-pin.
Can't get a strike then, can you?
Have to wait for that machine to recycle. And then we'll get back to it. There it goes.
But will we have a 9-pin?
We'll see. We will, and a 6-pin also.
And of course the other 8.
They're all there, but not for long.
Well, it was a great hit. It looked like he was going to be left with a 4-10. Tripped the 4 from behind and leaves himself to 10 with a little testy piece of wood out front.
And the spare.
Well, that was worth the wait for Neil.
His second mark. By the way, those of you who've been with us all season know we've been talking a lot about the New England Sports Museum, and I think we're going to just say that we've learned our lesson, and we'll just kind of
Yes.
hold off on giving the opening date right now because it's changed a couple of times. And oh yes, fine shot for Neil Gosselin. Little delicate spare there.
He makes it 2 in a row by just touching that 6-pin, actually the 3-pin, off the wall for the 6-10.
The last word we hear is that May 1st is now the tentative opening date, but I would suggest that for now you just, if you're curious about it, get in touch with the New England Sports Museum down in Cambridge, Mass. at the Cambridge Side Galleria. And of course, as we move certainly further and into the Tournament of Champions, hopefully we'll have more word on that.
Yeah, we'll have a definitive date by then, I'm sure, but It's going to be worth the wait, people, believe me. It's going to be an actual working Candlepin machine that you'll be able to see, and that is being installed as we speak, so. As well as many of the other major sports in the New England area.
Has the machine itself changed a lot over the years since it was first invented?
Not really. Some improvements to it, but the basic machine hasn't changed that much.
Nice try by Brian.
Sure, the electronics and the solid state parts now make it.
But the basic concept is still the same.
Right. Used to have a string machine. If you believe that. All the pins were attached, that had a string attached to it.
Is that right?
And they would swing. It was really strange. I have never seen it, but they talk about it all the time. And when you hit them, the string would detract and pull the pin up.
Neil with a 9 fill and another spare.
And he makes it 3 in a row.
Closing the gap to 6.
4 marks in this first game, all spares. Brian has 3, 2 spares and a strike.
Back on lane 31, and there is another 9 drop for Neil Gosselin.
Solid 4-pin. Make it 4 in a row.
Well, Neil threw a 425 a week ago, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. Brian McKinley, for the moment at least, has a 6-pin lead, but he's opposite 2 marks.
And he'll shoot at the triangle, 3, 5, 6. And without it, he'll lose the lead.
Nope, Brian turned away from that one. $9. And the lead swings over to Neil Gosselin's column. Oh my. Well, actually, that could have been a lot worse. He at least has a piece of wood to use now on the 2-pin, which is the object. And it helps.
You called it. Great shot by Brian McKinley. Just cutting the 2-pin, and as Doug said, the wood seemed to keep the 2-pin in play, moved everything to the right. 10-pin finally goes for the spare. Neil right back on the head pin, another 8-pin drop, this time the 3-6.
Looking for his 5th straight spare. No. And a 9. 123 with a box to come. Well, he almost wound up with the 5-7-10 with no wood. Instead, he'll just have the 5-7 with no wood.
Piece of cake, then. Trying to cut the 5 on the right-hand side. Not quite. So 2 open frames for Brian McKinley to try to recapture the lead. He'll be working on a spare when he gets up there.
And Neil will take the 10. A 133 opener. And Brian is going to have to get a re-rack on lane 32. Don't forget, semifinal week next Sunday here on Stars and Strikes. The winner of this match will take on number 2 seed Dave Blaine. And then at 1 o'clock, it'll be the semifinal match in doubles as well. Of course, today we've got doubles coming up immediately following this show. At 1 o'clock, it'll be Bob Ferrara and Alex Pendleton against Larry Valcourt and Fred Ranella. Our participating sponsor in this series of Candlepin Stars and Strikes, the folks at Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan in Salem, New Hampshire. Come to Salem and save. Emmett Horgan and all the gang, solid supporters of Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Brian McKinley now on a spare, fills with 6, and he trails by 6 in the match.
Triangle 2, 4, 5, also the 10 pin. Piece of wood that could help with a 10 pin.
No, let's see. Not quite on the 4.
Helped with a 10 pin, but forgot to take the 4 with it. Can gain another in count, which he does. Lead now just a mere 5 pins.
Going to get down to spring training this year? Fort Myers, the new home of the Red Sox?
I saw a picture of that stadium in the paper the other day. It looks nice.
Very nice. Actually, I had a chance to go down to Fort Myers last summer, and it's an interesting area. I'd never been to Winter Haven, but hearing everybody talk about it over the years, Fort Myers is certainly a more cosmopolitan type area, which I think the players and the fans alike will both be happy about. A lot of activities down there.
Nice area, Fort Myers.
9 for Brian McKinley, a 127, and Neil Gosselin will carry a 6-pin lead into the middle game, and we'll have it right after we have these words. Brian McKinley, starting game 2.
And he starts with the 1, 3, 7, 10.
Oh, pretty good shot. Oh, just missed it on the 7-pin.
Watch the head pin go to the left side wall and in front of the 7-pin.
Brian McKinley with 4 marks in the match already. One of them was a strike. He trailed by 6 coming into this second game, and he looks at the spread eagle. There's half of it. And the rest of it.
Well, it worked out with 2 10 boxes.
Neil Gosselin looking for his 2nd win in a row. A little short of the head pin that time.
And we'll look at the 1, 2, 7, 10.
With a piece of wood. Might make a difference. We'll see. Nine. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be letting you know our taping dates for the Tri-State Megabucks Tournaments of Champions. Of course, the singles tournament event will be held here at Park Place Lanes in Windham. The doubles event will be held at the Londonderry Bowling Center. And we'd love to have you come down. It'll be on, both of them will be held on Tuesdays. And we'll let you know exactly when they're going to take place. And Neil has the 10 box. Loses 1 in count on that exchange, and the lead is down to 5. Brian McKinley from Hudson, New Hampshire. Lives there with his wife Debbie, and Brian works for the Purity Supermarkets in Plastow. Does a lot of his bowling at the Londonderry Bowling Center and also at the Leda Lanes in Nashua. He's been a frequent visitor to our programs here on the Winds. This is his 14th appearance overall with a record of 8-5 to this point. And on lane 32, an ugly leave.
Well, let's see where that middle piece of wood settles down. We want it either to the right or turned a little bit so you'd have a shot at the 10 pin. Still going to play it.
Not quite. And the 9. Boy, this time he's got most of the back row, 7, 8, and 10. With wood, though. Some choices here.
I think I'd go with the right-hand tip of that front piece. Yeah, he's going right down the center.
And, of course, whether you're coming down to watch a taping here of Stars and Strikes or just coming down to Park Place Lanes to do some bowling on your own or to visit Jonathan's, the fine restaurant and lounge here at Park Place, you also want to make it a point to stop in and get a bite to eat at the Willow Tree Restaurant, located right on the premises here at Park Place Lanes, Route 28 in Windham. The Willow Tree. Fine staff serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. It's where the crew eats.
My thoughts exactly. I was waiting for you to finish, and I was going to say the same thing.
What better endorsement could there be?
Yeah, because that's a finicky group, I'll tell you. Well, we're still looking for our first mark from these bowlers this second game. And Neil's going to have a cluster of 5 in the right-hand corner. 3, 5, 6, 9, 10.
And let's see, pretty good effort. Well, it's been good pinning so far in this second game. The match still very close. A 10 box for Neil Gosselin. We will take a break. The lead is still 6 for Neil as we approach the halfway point of this match. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on the Winds in a minute. Brian McKinley is right through the middle of the rack again.
And the 6-10 on the right, 4-7 on the left, piece of wood in front of both pairs of pins.
May be able to snap something around. Let's see. He'll play it left to right, and it won't go. $10 for Brian. And again, a double pair setup. This time the 3 and 6 on the right, the 4 and 7 on the left, and the wood very much in the way. And a $7. First bad box for either bowler really here in this second game. Still looking for the first mark of this game. Neil Gosselin with the lead and with a chance to add to it here. He had 4 marks in a row in the latter stages of the first game. Oh, do you believe it? All of a sudden, it's become an epidemic here.
2-4-6-10 for Neil.
Let's see. Nope. Get the feeling that somebody's going to make one of these, and then that's just going to open up the floodgates again. 9 bucks. Halfway through, the lead at 5 for Neil Gosselin.
Both bowls are probably talking to themselves. Boy, if I could only get a few marks up, I could build up a pretty good lead. But you got to get them closer together than this. 4, 7, and 10. Let's see if you could snap that piece of wood to the right over to get the 10 pin, but
nope, played it as far left as he could. He'll gain in count in this box at any rate. But only 1.
And we're tied up in this game, but still it's a 6-pin advantage for Neil Gosselin.
Maybe we should award some sort of prize for the first mark in this game. Boy, they came so easy in the first game, didn't they? Brian McKinley pulls it. Thought he was going to have a half Worcester. Got 3 instead.
You usually can tell how the bowl is doing without looking at the scoreboard. Just watch what they do with their hand towel. They're placing it down gently. Yeah, going on pretty good. When they start slamming it down, things aren't going too well. And right now, they're really slamming it.
That's the second straight 7 box for Brian McKinley. And now the crowd getting restless. On the head pin that time, and let's see.
There it goes.
Could be a strike. Hold on.
Oh, will it? No. Maybe.
Well,
yeah.
I'd say this is a spare leave, but the way this has been going this game, we'll wait and see. Oh, yeah. Right there.
Brian gives himself a hand.
Bronx cheer from the crowd here.
Tough crowd today. Now let's see if Neil can do likewise and put a mark or 2 up. Well, it would be a tough one. The 1, the 2, the 8, and the 10.
Just slid by the head pin. And a 9. So he gains 2 in that frame to lead by 8, but now he's opposite a mark. He spun that one nicely into the Brooklyn pocket, the 1-2.
5 and 9 left, and watch out. Piece of wood coming across. Well, it's going to roll far enough to the left. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Yeah, it's far enough out of the way. Clear shot at the 5-9.
And got it for the spare. So the 8th frame is the trick for both bowlers.
Let's just wait for the other one to get going, I guess, and they match each other's marks in the 8th, as Doug said. And Brian will now fill his spare.
Only 7. Looked like a pretty good hit.
6-10 on the right, 7-pin all by itself. Double piece of wood in front of the 6-10.
Oof.
Good effort.
$9 bucks. Just slipping by the head pin that time, and let's check out the 1, 7, 8, and 10. There's double wood though behind the head pin, and
Should help him with a 10. Let's see if he gets anything come back to the right. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Very nicely done. Sparing a 10th.
Mark number 6 for Brian. Here it is. $98 plus a ball. And it's an 8 fill for Brian. A 106. A 2-game 233. Question is, will that be enough to make up for the 6-pin deficit that he had coming in? Neil Gosselin will try and answer that question. He's got a fill on a mark here in the 8th. And he fills it with 8.
Well, he made the 5-9. Now he's got the 5-8, but this time he does have a piece of wood out in front, and let's see, it's rolling back now towards the 5.
Yes, 2 in a row for Neil Gosselin. 7 marks in the match for Neil. Ironically, after having all the strikes last week, he is yet to throw one today. Boy, he just caught the head pin that time and
trying to coax the 7-pin over.
He knocked 8 of them down, and 5 of them are still on the plate. Neil, either way, will still have the lead after game 2. See if he goes right into that V with the wood. Nope, he goes to the right and nothing doing.
Took out that one piece of dead wood and nothing else even moved.
And it's a 9 for a 109. And it's still a single pin difference in this match. 242 for Neil Gosselin, 233 for Brian McKinley. We've got 1 game to go to decide this match, and we'll decide it after we show you these messages. All right, we're going to get back to it with Neil Gosselin with a 9-pin lead, and there are the 4 men who have already qualified for this year's 5th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Paul Berger with that big 464.
Tried to give the ball a little pep talk at the break, but those games are some of the toughest ones to bowl. Just can't seem to get 2 pins together. Give yourself a spare leave, no matter how hard you try.
10 for Neil to open the 3rd game. He leads by 9 coming in. The winner of this gets Dave Blaine in the semifinals next week.
Neil wants that ball to break from right to left, and he seems like he's throwing a lot harder than he did last week. He throws hard anyways. What's happening is the ball doesn't have time to break back. It's straightening out on him, and he's just missing to the right.
19 opening pair for Neil, and a chance for Brian McKinley to quickly make up that deficit.
Four horsemen plus the 9-pin. 1, 2, 4, 7.
It'll be a 10.
That was opposite an open frame, that being a 9 box by Neil Gosselin.
Well, he's got 2 pins rocking. Let's see.
No, they're not going to go down. I just get that feeling. They're going to rock and tease you, but they're not going down. The 1, the 3, the 7, and the 10 pins left for Brian McKinley. No.
Well, they're down now, but unfortunately the 1 pin isn't. It's a 10, picks up 1, the lead is 8. Neil Gosselin will shoot at the triangle in the right corner with no wood to help. And punches right off the 10 pin. It's a 10. Oh, good looking ball that time, but look at the result. The 5-7.
Well, the wood came out far enough. The farther out, the better. He's going to try to clip the wood in the right-hand tip and have the ball carry through for the 5, and the wood take the 7. Can be made. A little too far left. So he'll be open the first 4 frames, this third game.
I think what often happens when two bowlers are kind of struggling like this, Dan, is they talk to each other more than they would if the match were close but high scoring. It's kind of a we're in this together kind of thing. They're both struggling a little bit. It's a very close match, but neither bowler able to take control.
It's gotten so bad now that they're ignoring their towels. They're not touching them.
Oh,
right
my.
Through the middle. Spread eagle for Brian. And the 6 pin.
Well, watch out now. Match like this. Don't want to lose too many more in count. Take an 8.
That pushes the lead to double figures, though, with 10. But still opposite an open frame. Interesting leave. 4 horsemen right. 1, 3, 6, 10. And also the 4, 7.
Nope, off target. And he'll be left with the high-low jack on this third ball.
And Neil's going to gain a few more in count unless Brian can knock these 3 pins down.
Well, we'll take a break. The lead is now a dozen. Neil Gosselin in the lead. It's there for either bowler right now with 6 boxes to go. All right, Neil Gosselin with 6 boxes remaining, leads in the match by 12. And a thundering 9 drop, leaving the 4. Let's see what this wood does. It may come over.
He's hoping that rests up against the 4 pin. He needs something easy to get himself going. And it does, right against the 4 pin. When you're struggling, you need something that's a little easier.
There it is. Mark number 8 for Neil Gosselin, all of them spares. He had 19 marks a week ago. Probably wishes he had saved a couple right now. 8 drop.
3, 5 left.
No, he turned it over just a little bit too much. Looked like right at the last second, right before he let it go, he gave it a little extra turn with the wrist, and that was enough to pull it left.
But he doesn't manage to put 1 mark up, pinning well. Only 1 pin left standing, that 9 box in the second frame, but Match certainly still within reach of Brian McKinley.
On lane 32.
Brian looks like he's pulling up on the ball now. Pull the ball to the left sometimes for the right-hander. He's got the 1, 3, 7, and 8.
Quickly after it and can't convert. $10 for Brian. So the lead now 20.
20 with 5 boxes left for Brian, 4 left for Neil.
Brooklyn hit and the diamond. That's not the lead you want to see when things aren't going well.
3, 5, 6, and the 9.
Does have a piece of wood, but I don't know how much of a factor it's going to be. Just off to the left of the 5 pin, and oh, it's there. I think he got it in, regardless of the wood, though.
It came off the right sidewall. Actually, the 3 pin right there into the 6 and finally the 9.
That's a critical mark right there.
Absolutely. Trailing by 20. Now that one he lofted quite a bit further out on the lane, and his ball wants to break right to left. It won't start breaking until it comes in contact with the lane.
Oh, nice effort. Well, is Neil thinking about the wood here? Yes, he is. And it doesn't cover the 10 pin. I had a feeling he might be thinking about playing the wood there.
Well, you know, it gets to the point where you're struggling, your confidence seems to start to drop a little bit, and anytime you get a piece of wood to play, it's easier hitting something a foot long than it is hitting something 2 and some inches wide. So 1, 3, and 7 left, and so you may have trouble with that 10 pin. The way the wood's angled, it's going to send the 3 pin right to the sidewall.
Nope.
2 open frames for Brian to work on. Trailing by 20, he'll be working on a mark.
10 box, barely. 86 through 8. Brian McKinley with that spare up in the 6th.
And Brian up on the approach talking to himself, kind of get a little bit of that adrenaline flowing now, filling the spare.
Oh, my. Concentrating on the head pin and punches for the spread eagle.
Well, can work it out for a 10. He can gain another and count. He's going to have a tough time doing that now. 2, 3, 6 left.
Oh, very nice. I thought he had gone too far to the right, but he hung on and cut the 3 pin over into the 2.
That's amazing, because they're in the same plane. They're directly across from each other. You're missing the head pin just barely to the right. 1, 2, 9, 10. Trails by 15. Would really like to put a mark up here in the 8th.
Be a tough one. Let's see. No.
He's got to hope that Neil does not mark. If he doesn't, he'll at least have a shot at throwing 2 marks up there. If Neil were to put 1 mark up in a decent fill, then Brian would be in a double strike situation. Have we had any strikes? 1. Brian, way back in the first game.
Well, Neil has the 5 and the 8.
Not as easy as it may seem.
Covers it.
Spare in a 9th, and that could be a big one depending on the fill. He wants to avoid the bad fill and the bad frame. Leads by 15.
Oh, nice ball there, and it will be strike on spare for Neil Gosselin. His first strike of the match.
Couldn't come at a better time for him, because that may have iced the match for him. Brian's going to have to come up and throw some strikes now.
And Neil will fill it with 7, a 123, 365.
Brian needs 53 pins, I believe, in the last 2 frames. And to do that, you got to throw a lot of strikes.
Oh, my.
And that, I think, will just about do it.
It will. In fact, we're going to slip away. We'll give you the final score when we return. We're running a little bit short on time. Neil Gosselin has won his 2nd straight, and we'll be back to give you the final score and chat with the bowlers in a minute. All right, we're back on Stars and Strikes, and the check for $175 for Brian McKinley. Not really your day today. You had some opportunities there early, it seemed, but boy, later both of you were really struggling for pins.
Yeah, it was just pretty ugly. I tried moving around, shortening it up, just couldn't make any adjustments, so it just didn't work.
Well, you've been here a lot, and I suspect we'll see you again real soon. Good luck, Brian.
One more time, I'll be back.
All right,
Okay.
Thanks, Brian. Congratulations for making another appearance here, and now it's time once again for Neil Gosselin to make another appearance on lane 31. See if we can get a bonus ball winner, $50 in the jackpot, couple of sets of brand new bowling balls from Paramount Industries on the line, and Neil rolled a 7 last week and we didn't get a winner, so let's see what happens this time. Oh, this time a big 9 drop. Probably would have liked one of those in the match at some point. And this time, of course, the drawing is 7 for Ernest Leclerc from Manchester, New Hampshire. So, Ernest, you'll be receiving a consolation prize, and thanks for sending it in. And Neil, slide in here. And I know you don't want to really talk about this, but it's a win anyway.
That was a lucky win, a very lucky one. Brian's an excellent bowler, and we both seem to go down together.
All right, we're running short on time, so we'll see you next week against Dave Blaine.
I'll be here.
All right, thanks, Neil. Congratulations, 2 in a row, and we'll look at the ladder and set you up for next week, Dan, but it doesn't happen very often, it seems. 2 in a row, and Neil got the win when he wasn't bowling at his best.
Well, that's usually when you stay on a long time, so he's got better things coming next week.
All right, it'll be Neil Gosselin looking for 3 in a row next Sunday at 12 noon against Dave Blaine. But don't go away, because coming up on Stars and Strikes doubles after this break, it'll be Alex Pendleton and Bob Ferrara against Larry Valcourt and Fred Ranella. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. See you soon.